Hello my loves, it's jennibellie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my bed box. Now over the years I have shared with you loads of travel art kits, but this one is different in that I trawled Amazon for hours and hours and hours to try and find the perfect little case to take with me to coffee shops that would fit all of the requirements that I wanted. I wanted it to be fairly small, smaller than my other kits, but big enough for me to put in my journal that I wanted to take to the coffee shop, which were little altered journals. I wanted it to have pencil loops in it and leaves that were removable. I also wanted a place to be able to put anything wet out the way, like this deep pocket that's at the front. I also wanted 2 zips on it because I've had enough pencil cases to know if one goes, then that's the bag ruined. So this was the case that I chose on Amazon after so much searching, because there are so many cases, it's ridiculous. I shall stick a link below because I know I'll get asked what the case is, where it's from, and probably get asked about the products that I'm going to include as well. So I will give a link that has the whole list of the case and everything that I'm going to put inside it below in the description. But then what happened? COVID happened and coffee shops are no longer really an option, although that's one of my favourite things to do, is to go journaling in some coffee shops. So I decided to turn this into a bed box, because my favourite place to journal, first thing in the morning and last thing at night, is on my bed or in my bed. So I'm going to switch my coffee shop case into my bed box and use that for my just regular everyday journaling. And so I thought I would share with you what I'm going to be putting in it, hopefully give you some inspiration to create your own stay-at-home but still mobile art kit. So this is when I realised that the pencil loops are really small, like really small. They are clearly just designed for colouring pencils, probably thanks to the colouring book trend, and that's probably why there were so many cases to choose from. Literally, you can get anything, guys, anything you want, have a look around. But I realised I just needed to battle a little bit and they would give. So I'm starting off with my favourite ever black pen. I've shared this before, but again it will be in the link below. And my favourite ever mechanical pencil, my favourite ever white pen as well. I'm going to space these out. This top layer is going to be the essentials layer, things you really need. So here's an eraser, which if you guys ever need to take an eraser out and about, just cut it off. This layer is going to be all essentials. So in goes a water soluble pencil. I used that in last week's art journaling video if you want to check that out, and some aqua brushes. This is how I get around having to, and I filled 2 up with water, one a smaller nib and the other one is a square type nib, and I filled those up with water. And this is how I get around being out and about and not having to take water with me or being on my bed. So I'm just going through some old pencil cases to try and see what I've got, and in the process I found some pencils I can't ever remember seeing before in my life, but clearly I did because I've used them a little bit. So it's one of those supplies I probably bought once and never used again. So I'm putting in a pencil sharpener because the pencils have now taken me down the line of the pencils. But those pencils were tricolour pencils, so they've got 3 colours in one. And next are some metallic pencils. I absolutely love metallic pencils. Metallic and neon pencils are kind of like my favourite pencils. And I'm going back to the essentials leaf to put in a black biro. I think this is like the most essential art supply that most people just miss, probably because it's basic, but it's one of the most useful things you can have. Next, what I'm doing in these in-between slots on these leaves is I'm putting in watercolour pencils in sort of flesh and earth tone tones. Again, these are from Derwent, like the metallic pencils are, and again, where I can, I will stick everything in a big list below. And I'm just rearranging the pencils so I can get more pencils in that I want. Now I'm adding in some water-soluble crayons and just using an old tin to keep these and just picking out colours that I want. There isn't any reason to this, it's just the colours that I like in that moment. And don't feel like you have to stick to anything. You can always come back and change it. It isn't like, you know, life or death if you've got the right colour in that moment. Just use your supplies wherever you take your bed box, and if you don't like something, switch it out. Next I'm going to add in some watercolour markers. I really like these. I've had them for a few years and I haven't used them as much lately, so I'm going to include those as well. Again, just choosing colours that I want and think I would use, but not thinking too much about it. If I want to change it, I will. Now, this is fun. I went and grabbed a bag, just like a cosmetic bag. I have a box in my studio where I keep all boxes, bottles, bags, all kinds of stuff that I have gathered or been given or received when I buy things. And I found this little sort of see-through wallet perfect to keep some collage in, so you can see it, and as long as it fits in my case, which it does, it's going to be perfect for keeping some collage elements in. So I'm going to add in first some things that are just like plain that I can adapt and alter to the pages, and things like journal spots and things like that, and then more embellishment type things, die cuts and some stickers. And I'm also going to use some of my own collage sheets and pre-cut them, as you can see me doing here. These are out of my Etsy shop, and I just like having things that I have created or that have got more of an arty look to them and are in the same kind of colourways, so they work together on a page without you having to do much thought or planning for it. So I'm just pre-cutting some so that I can stick it in this ephemera bag and it's good to go. I don't need to sit there and create little pieces of paper all over my bed. Because I've created that little folder, I'm going to also include a glue stick so that they can get stuck on the page, and also a little, what are these called, letter stamps set and an ink pad. And because I'm including those, I'm also going to include some white paper, so I'm just cutting some pieces down so that I can stamp onto these pieces of white paper, and also include some scissors just in cases, and an envelope to put any little pieces of paper that are left over if I do want to cut them. So that's my little kit for now, and because this is going to be a bed box, not a coffee shop case, I am going to create some backgrounds, just very simple, very neutral toned backgrounds, so that I can put these in the bottom of the case and have these to just stick down on a journal ready to go, and then I can build using the supplies from the case whatever artwork I want to. But I have a base that's had the messy work taken out of it, like the gluing stage, like the paint stages. And you can see my desk is a mess, guys. I wasn't like just doing it for effect last video when I created a desk scrap art journal page. It is messy pretty much all of the time at the minute, and this gesso is really at the bottom, so it's thick and kind of gloopy, but I'm still using it because that just gives texture and it's kind of cool. So palette knife for that layer, and then I'm just going to go in with some titanium buff and a brayer just to add more texture and break up the white a little bit and blur in some of that titanium buff without like overloading it. And then piece de resistance, last thing, so I'm just going to use some raw umber ink, so it's not black, it's brown, so it's again staying quite neutral, and just making some splatters for the background. So I'm just going to quarter this page and hope that that is the right size to go into the bottom of my case. Out comes the old faithful Donald ruler, which many of you mention when you see it on a video. that I've had since I was a child, so there's his guest appearance. And thankfully these pages do just fit in. They curl at the edges a little bit, but not that much. If it was any more, I would have reduced the pages further, because I don't really want, if they're going to sit in there for a long time, for all the edges to curl and then for me not to be able to stick them down in my journal when I come to the bed. Now, the thing that I haven't put in here is washi tapes or tapes, because I do actually have another little bag that I do keep by my bedside, which you're going to see now. Dun dun dun. That I do actually keep a couple of bits of washi tape in already, so I didn't bother like redoing that. But if I didn't have that, I would have stuck in some tapes as well. So you can just see me sticking down one of those pages and just taking the bed box for a whirl. But if you have a partner that maybe doesn't want you journaling in bed, or you just don't fancy it, what about doing a kitchen case and just dedicating a little bit of a work surface to your journaling spot that you can do in between waiting for the pasta to cook, or having, you know, just waiting for the kettle to boil, or whatever else you're doing, or a sofa stash, or a garden group. I haven't really got a word for the G. Garden. Garden. I can't think of a G word to go with it, guys. Garden, give me a G word. Garden. I'm looking around for inspiration, I can't see anything. Well, you get the idea. I hope I've given you some inspiration to create your own little complete stash that you can take about with you as we are all staying safe. So here's where it will live, along with my bed journals. There's about 6 or 7 there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, a few old ones so I won't count them, 20, what were we on, 25, 26, 27, 28, and my new one. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And come over to journal workshops if you would like to take part in some of my groups or my classes. Much love, guys.